Thank you so much, Zoom, for telling us this. I lovingly mute you all. If you need me, pop into the chat box. It will pop up on my screen if you're doing this class live. If you're hopping in on the recording, well, I'm afraid you are just out of luck. We're going to lay down all the way down, all the way down. If a bridge base is better for you, feet down, hips down, knees up, feel free to head there. If you just like to lay all the way out in an opening Shavasana, really take what serves. Take a moment to be mindful. Be mindful about how you set yourself up. And then we're going to breathe. We're going to feel connected to the earth and we're going to breathe. This is the order of things in my practice. First we ground and then we breathe. And from that place of connection, we move. And my mantra for this flow is, I am open to the possibilities. I am open to possibilities. The older we get, the more muscle memory we develop in our body, the more patterns we develop in how we move through this world. And that's great. That's good. It's a nice survival mechanism. Nothing wrong with it. We also live in a culture that is very goal-oriented and goal-focused. And that's okay too. Having a goal, working towards something is fantastic. Unless you get so pinpoint focused on one single thing in front of you that you miss the entire buffet that comes between here and there. You're so focused on getting right there that this huge opportunity that's just sitting right here waiting for you to pick it up, you miss it because you didn't look. You weren't open to a possibility. You weren't open to a shift. I think we like clear-cut goals, and I think we like that focus because it feels structured and comfortable. Sometimes those possibilities require us to do a lot of reevaluating and say, wait a minute, I thought I was going there, but I don't know, maybe this is a good place right now. That's unsettling. That space of maybe is unsettling. It's very unsettling for me, and I know I'm not alone in that. So when we practice things on the mat, like being open to possibilities, like, well, I haven't tried that shape in a while, or I haven't used that modification, or I haven't put a prop in on this, or I haven't, right, in a while or ever. If you're open to a possibility on your mat, I promise you, it will be easier to be open to possibilities off the mat. And at least for me, that is most definitely how it works. I'm going to apologize in advance if my dog barks at us because I opened my front door because it is beautiful here today. But she's going to hear other dogs and she's going to hear people walking their strollers, their kids, and all outside. And she will get fussy about it. So I apologize in advance. As you are feeling your connection to ground and breathing, start to deepen the breath. Take in more air. And then exhale a little more thoroughly. And for these next few breaths, you might shift to breathe in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. All together, take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Exhale it out the mouth. Inhale. Hold at the top. Exhale out. One more, just like that. Deep breath in. Hold. Exhale out. Fabulous. You might now reach the arms up overhead. Point the toes, flex the feet, turn the feet side to side. Maybe you walk the arms up one and then the other. Little reclined walking of the armpits, as it were, because you're moving from what is most easily described as the armpit chest. It's this side of the body here. Ooh, snap, crackle, pop. Big stretch, big breath. You can even yawn here or sigh. Maybe you start to bend one knee and the other, kind of like you're pedaling out, but we're still laying down. I know, how much do you love this flow already? We're going to bring the feet to a nice bridge base. Hips down, feet down, knees up. I'm going to lift my hips, tuck my tailbone, and gently roll back down. So I'm maintaining really good length in the low part of my spine. And I'm going to take cactus arms. So I'm making a nice little goal post here. I'm trying to keep the backs of my hands and the elbows on the mat at the same time. Little exploration in the shoulders. Inhale, slide the hands up so your fingers touch. And then exhale, slide them down like you're pulling your elbows into your ribs. Inhale, lift up. I'm keeping my hand connected to the earth as much as possible. Exhale, slide them down. One more time, reach hands up. Exhale, pull those elbows towards the rib cage. Tuck the tailbone, flatten out the back. And then release the arms out nice and wide. Maybe turn the palms down here. And take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, tilt the knees to the right, just a little bit. When you run out of air to exhale, you're done moving your knees. Inhale up to the sky. Exhale a little to the left. Inhale up. Exhale right. As your breath gets deeper and you slow everything down a little bit more, you'll be able to bring the knees closer and closer to the ground. Really take your time. We're not going to rush through this. Use this opening movement to see how your physical body feels today. What's going on right now in your ankles, your knees, your quads, your hips, your glutes, your low back? There's a whole lot of information available here when we tune in and check it out. Just give me one more tilt to the left whenever you get there. When you come back up to the center, you just pause. Take the right knee in the right hand. Take the left knee in the left hand. Again, maybe lift that tailbone, gently set it down, and take a little bit of a rock side to side. The low back should be really well connected to the ground here. If you're getting a lot of arch in the back, you might need to reset the hips one more time. Notice if you let your knees really start to drift over, you're going to start to feel your abdominal muscles turn on to help support you in this shape. But you got your elbows right here. See, I got my elbows. So as I tilt, my elbow's going to catch me. I'm not going to have to go too far. I'm just asking my core muscles, my abdominal muscles here to wake up. In case you were not aware, core and abs are not exactly synonymous. We use the words very interchangeably a lot, but the abdominal muscles are only a component of what actually makes up the core. So there's your fun little fact for the day. Come on back to center. Hug the knees in, separate the feet a little bit, circle ankles, wiggle toes. point and flex. If you are not on the second floor, if you do not have downstairs neighbors that you will really annoy with this next little ditty, I invite you to bring the feet to the ground and just sort of tap it out a little bit. Build a little energy in the feet. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit fun. A little faster. 2, 1, pause. Walk the feet wide, bring the knees together. Open the arms up, palms up towards the sky. Wrap the arms, put the right arm on top. Give yourself a nice big hug. And as you exhale here, push the elbows down away from your face. Notice how that shifts the sensation of the stretch here a little bit. Inhale, reach those arms out like you're hugging a really big tree. Exhale, left arm on top, wrap the arms. Let the elbows go where they want to as you shift those hands and get as deep as you can. And then when you found it, push the elbows away. It's going to draw the shoulders down away from your ears a little bit. And then we'll release back to knees in, right knee in the right hand, left knee in the left hand. This time we're going to peel the nose up towards the knees, squeeze everything in. Exhale, release the upper body back down. Inhale, nose towards knees. And exhale, roll it all the way down. One more time, we're reaching all the way up. And this time I invite you to hold. I'm going to shift my hands to my hamstrings here. I'm keeping my nose up towards my knees. My chin is off my chest, but I'm not craning to look up at the ceiling. You want the back of the neck to feel nice and neutral. You can hold right here if you're feeling a little activation in your abdominals, in that part of the core. Or if you want to get a little deeper, you can release one leg and start to reach it out. And then draw it back in. And then maybe release the other leg out. And draw it back in. Then release the right leg. This is a half low boat. It's a little more supported because we're keeping one leg in to help support the back. And it's an option. You are welcome simply to hold in this little ball, nose towards knees. Couple more breaths if you're extending with me. And the last one. Bring both knees in, squeeze a little bit higher, say hello to your abs, and then release the upper body down. Release the feet to the ground. Pause. If you have not already chosen a mantra or an intention for today's practice, and I'm open to the possibilities, isn't resonating with you, choose something that does. Find what speaks to your heart today. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way up to seated. I'm going to roll through the spine a few times. So if that serves, take this option. If you need to turn to one side, pause, take a fetal position, and then press your way up, that works too. Remembering that how we get from shape to shape really matters. And then come up nice and tall. Find your comfortable seat. Relax the shoulders. Maybe we need to move the neck a little bit. Continuing with deepening and finding ease in the breath. So you might even close your eyes here and notice if you're finding tension somewhere in the body where it doesn't need to be. If you're clenching your toes, right? Or if you've tightened up the muscles of your jaw or forehead, it's not going to help you as we sit tall. And ease the neck around. And then at some point, everybody drop the chin towards the chest. As you drop the chin, start to lift the heart. Pull the shoulder blades together a little bit so we stay open through the front of the chest. And on the next breath in, we're going to carve a line with the nose to look a little bit up. And then exhale, chin back to chest. Just moving with the head. We don't need to reach the heart forward just yet. One more time. Inhale, look up. And then exhale back to neutral. This time we're going to inhale and look to the right. Then exhale and look to the left. Don't strain the neck here. Don't crane. Try to push it beyond where it wants to move to. Exhale to left. And again, I speak and I'm like, what did I just say? Inhale to the right. Exhale left. There's your reminder that yoga teachers are people. We're human. We flub it. One more time, exhale and look left. And then come back to center and just relax. One nice cleansing breath. And now we'll inhale, squeeze your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Exhale down the back. Inhale, squeeze up. Exhale, slide down the back. One more time, lift up. And release down. And then bring the hands to the knees. I'm using my hands to create a little bit of a bounce here, a little bit of movement, build a little bit of heat. I'm checking how my knees feel here in my cross-legged seat. Sukhasana, which is easy pose, and not a pose because it isn't difficult. It means to bring ease to the pose, a pose that brings ease to the body. Lean back, switch, put the other foot in front, sit up nice and tall. And this time we're going to start to move with the rib cage. So heart comes around and slides back. Heart comes around and slides back. And one more time. When you get all the way back, pause here. Use your hands on your knees as a nice counterbalance. And then start circling in the opposite direction. So reverse your tape, circle it around. Maybe by now you're rocking from sits bone to sits bone as well as letting the rib cage move. And then we'll work our way all the way back up to seated, hands to knees, shake them out. When we switch which foot is in front, it's going to change the sensation of this shape. And I'd be willing to bet 9.9 times out of 10, when you sit down and take a cross-legged seat, you intentionally put the same foot in front. Like your body automatically has like, yep, I know how to take this shape. These feet go here. People who don't practice yoga, if you have them sit down, they take an automatic, and then you ask them to switch, and they're like, "Wait, whoa, what's happening? I don't know how this feels in my body. I don't know about this." Like talking on the phone with the wrong ear. Okay, bring the hands together, interlace. Notice which thumb is on top, and start to move through the wrists. We do have a tiny bit. We're going to go through down dog today in our practice. In the beginning, we have tabletop, which is a wrist-weighted shape. So let's get some nice movement. Maybe you get a little funky and make some waves. And then pause, release the fingers, slide over one so the opposite thumb is on top, and move through the wrists. Take your time. If you find a little sticky spot, you might kind of hold that little section and say, oh, that spot needs some more love. Circling in both directions and maybe make some waves. And hold and shake them out. Make a fist with your right hand and tap the forearm on both sides, down around the wrist. You might even go into your palm to your fingers. Tapping like this, it's very light. We're not punching ourselves here. It's a very light tap, but what it does is it increases the circulation. Wow, look at that. 2 cats crossing behind me. That's Amelia and Mimosa. Switch, left hand taps right arm, both sides of the forearm, maybe into the palm, around the wrist. Just saying to the blood, hello, let's get moving, wake up. Or if we were, if I was Adrian from Texas, I'd say, hey-o. But I don't say that. That's Adrian. Okay, shake it all out. Make your way to tabletop, all fours. Setting your body up nice and mindfully, as always. Kitty walked on my mat. I love that. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, fingers wide, and fingerprints, that whole top knuckle of your finger, up by your fingerprints, are gripping the mat. Take a look back at your feet. Are your toes together or are they out? And can we bring them into a nice neutral alignment here? Muscles of the front body are engaging now to lift. So we don't want the rib cage to drop down into the basement. We want to keep this nice lift so the shoulder blades are open across the back. And then maybe a little external rotation in the arms. You're wrapping your arm bones out. So the soft part of the bicep is starting to turn forward. Soft back of the neck, strong belly. And then as you are ready, inhale and drop that belly low. Lift the head, heart, and hips. Cow pose. Notice what happens with your shoulders here. Did they shift? Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ripple through the spine, chin to chest. Moving with your own breath. Take a few rolls through, and then in cow pose, you might rock the hips side to side, turn and look left and right. And then maybe roll through to cat and do the same, rock a little left and right, circle the hips, start to maybe shift front and back. At some point, you might pick up a wrist and shake it, circle it out, wiggle the fingers. Or nod the head yes and shake it no. Continuing to move with the breath and explore ways that you can move inside this tabletop shape that just feel good. They feel nice. It's a lovely stretch. And then we'll pause here in the center. Bring the big toes together, open the knees out nice and wide, slide the hip creases all the way back. If child's pose, where hips are resting on heels, is not comfortable in your body, then take alternate resting pose, where the hips stay up over the knees, but the head and the heart can still come down towards the mat. This is a great alternative to child's pose if having the hips all the way back is just does not serve your body. If it's not comfortable, if it's not restful, if it's, I don't want to say painful, but if it's more sensation or a sensation that you're not looking for, then we'll switch into alternate resting today. And honestly, that applies to every class I teach. Deep, deep, deep breath in. Long, long, long sigh out. Shift your gaze, look forward, rise back up into your tabletop, reset the body, tuck the toes. Get ready to engage those abdominal muscles, as well as the hip flexors here. So we're going to pull everything up and in. Not cat pose here, but sort of head in that direction as we hollow out the front body just a little bit. Push the knees up off the mat. And then we'll slide the hips up and back. downward facing dog. Now walk this dog out any way that feels good for you. Turn ankles, nod head. If you want to keep working on that core a little bit today, you are more than welcome to come forward, hover the knees, slide up and back. You also have the option of rolling forward and finding a plank pose. But those are options. If that movement doesn't serve your body today, don't take it. Just because it's a beginning flow class doesn't mean we don't introduce options that can challenge you. You know what I mean? Like beginning doesn't necessarily have to mean just gentle, but you get to choose what kind of work you want to find on your mat today. And then after you've moved around and shifted and found your way, pause in your down dog here. External rotation of those arms, soft part of the bicep is trying to wrap around and point towards your ears here. Hip creases are really lifting up, and the core, the abs and the hip flexors are engaged to keep you there. Then let the heels get a little heavy. Tight hamstrings, keep a bend in the knees. Much safer, much better alignment for this shape. Really keeping long, long line of energy from crown of the head to tailbone, or even from hands to tailbone. And then we're all going to bend the knees, let the heels come up a little bit, and rock the hips side to side. And as we rock and sway, we're going to start to incrementally, teeny tiny, draw the hands back towards your feet, keeping a nice bend in the knees, walking the hands to the back of the mat. Until you make it all the way to the back here and you find your forward fold, letting the upper body rest on the thighs to the best of your ability here. Continue to rock and sway, nod the head, maybe kick a little ragdoll here. Maybe you straighten one leg and the other. Find some exploration in your forward fold, in your Uttanasana. I do like to turn my palms to face up and open and close fingers. That feels really nice on my wrist. And then settle into center here. Bring the palms to the shins. And we're going to engage the muscles of the front body, lift into halfway lift. Crown of the head ripples out and forward. And then exhale, release, float it all the way down. Palms to shins first. Engage muscle. And then lift. Ardha Uttanasana, half fold. Soft back of the neck, shoulder blades together and sliding down away from your skull. Exhale, soften and fold. Last time, palms to shins. Engage muscle and float up. Bend your knees, drop your hips, thinking chair pose, and then push the earth away to rise all the way up to the sky. Stay here, reach up. Maybe even look up. Separate the palms of the hands, like you're holding a great big exercise ball up overhead. If it's fine for the neck, lift the gaze up towards the sky as well. And then let's just wiggle the fingers. Maybe circle the wrists. And then let's reach the left hand up, bend the right arm a little bit. And then reach the right arm up and bend the left arm. We are reaching through the armpit chest right here, lifting from that side of the body, and then reaching the other way up. You can almost imagine like you're climbing a big rope. I don't know if you guys, I grew up in upstate New York. Even though Boston is my home, I was a kid in upstate New York. And in PE, when I was a kid, we're supposed to climb this rope that was like all the way up to the top of the ceiling. I don't think I ever got more than like 3 hands up. But if you've ever had to do that in PE class, that's sort of the concept where we reach and stretch and then switch sides. And then come all the way up nice and tall. Bring the palms of the hands together. Drop your thumbs down behind your head. Elbows are lifted here. Try and keep chin off chest. And a nice stretch through the triceps, which is the flip side of the biceps in your arm. Inhale, reach them back up. Exhale, draw the hands down into the heart. Beautiful. Inhale, take a deep breath up. Take your time, forward fold. Get there, use support on your thighs. Especially if you have an achy back today, there are still lots of good ways you can move through these shapes, but you might need to give yourself a little more support with your hands. Totally fabulously perfect and awesome. Not that your back aches, but that we can work with it. Soften the knees, walk the hands forward, bring the knees down to tabletop. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, heart, and hips. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ripple through the spine. Inhale back to neutral tabletop and bring the elbows down to where the backs of the wrists were. I like to start with thumbs up so I can see if my forearms are parallel. Then I'll rotate the palms down. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, heart, and hips. Notice what's happening in the shoulders. The shoulders are pushing down into the elbows to keep lift here. In cow bow. Say that 10 times fast. Take a deep breath in. And on the next exhale, ripple through that spine. Tuck the tailbone, chin to chest. Keep pushing the elbows down. Inhale, come back into neutral. Exhale, put the hands back under the shoulders. Tuck the toes if you release them. Grip with the fingers, engage that core, find that little dome in the back, pull the knees up, and the hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, sway the hips, start to draw the hands back. Until eventually you make your way to forward fold at the very back of the mat. Bend in the knees to protect the hamstrings if you need to. Deep breath in, long breath out. Palms come to shins, front body engages, lift halfway. Exhale, drop the hips down like you're thinking chair pose. Inhale, push the earth away, rise all the way up. And let's walk those armpits, rising up to the sky. And if looking up this long doesn't work in the neck, go on and bring your gaze forward. I won't be mad at you. And then reach all the way up, palms come together. Drop those thumbs down behind the skull. Keep the elbows lifted. Tricep stretch. Inhale those hands up. Exhale, draw them down into the heart. Inhale, deep breath all the way up. Take your time, forward fold. Let it go. Inhale and lift halfway up. Exhale, soften and fold, bend the knees, walk it forward. Tabletop, knees come down. Inhale to drop the belly, cow pose. Exhale, roll through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, bring the elbows down. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, heart, hips. Exhale, roll through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale back to neutral. And I'm going to give you the option of staying here and moving through cow-cat from our bowed position. Or if you want to add a little challenge, I'm going to walk my elbows a little bit forward, bring my hands together, and I'm going to press into my plank. And then release. Slide it back. Roll it up to plank. Release the knees. Drop the hips back. Just take a little stretch. Just one more time if you're flowing with me here. Dolphin or forearm plank. Release the knees. Come back to your forearm tabletop. Bring hands where the elbows were and rise back up. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Sway the hips, draw the hands back, coming back to forward fold at the back of the mat. Inhale and lift halfway up. Exhale, lower the hips. Inhale, push up to the sky. Walk the arms, reaching and swaying and finding some luscious movement. And you can keep the elbows bent if you need to. Just work with what's happening in your body today. Feel into the shoulders. And bring the palms of the hands together. Thumbs come down behind the skull. Heart stays lifted. Notice if when you get here, if your tailbone wants to push back, see if you can't tuck it under just a little bit. So this low back is very protected here in this strong vertical shape. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, draw the palms into the heart. Inhale, deep breath all the way up. And forward fold. Take your time. Float like a feather in a beautiful world. It's your pop culture reference for the day. Nod the head, yes. Shake it out, no. Palms to shins, strong front body, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and float back down. Bend the knees and walk the hands forward, coming into tabletop, all fours. Inhale and drop the belly, cow pose. Exhale, roll through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, elbows come down. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the hips. Exhale, roll through the spine, chin to chest. Coming back into neutral, you can either continue with your cat-cow or switch back to child's pose if what you want is rest or ease in practice today. And if you want a little bit of a challenge, then I invite you to walk the hands forward. Keep those arms parallel as we press up to forearm plank. And then we'll lift the hips for Dolphin Dog. So forearms are down, those shoulders are still engaged. Plank to dog. Plank, Dolphin Dog. And child's pose, or taking your cow-cat here, also great. Last one, if you're moving with me, bring those knees back to the earth, and everyone's gonna sink back into alternate resting or child's pose. Just take a quick breath here. Note to self, shirts with seams on your elbows. Don't feel amazing when you're rolling from Dolphin Dog to forearm plank. One more breath here. And then look up at the thumbs. Rise back up, reset the body, tuck the toes, engage the core, lift the knees, slide the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Sway the hips, draw the hands back. Forward fold, let it go. Palms to shins, lift halfway. Exhale and lower the hips. Inhale all the way up to the sky. And walk the arms out. Inhale, reach both hands up, palms kiss. Thumbs come down behind the skull. Tuck the tailbone. Pull the shoulders back. Pull the elbows back. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, draw them into the heart. All right, let's try it one more time. Inhale, deep breath all the way up. Forward fold, let it go. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees. Walk the hands all the way out. Settle the knees. Tabletop. Inhale, drop the belly, cow. Exhale, roll through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, put the elbows down where the wrists were. Inhale, drop the belly. Cow, bow. Exhale, roll through the spine, cat bow. Really push the elbows down. Inhale to neutral, and then it's either child's pose or we're going to work our way into forearm plank. And then dolphin dog. Nothing new this time through. If you're a long yogi like me, walking to dolphin, you might need to bring the feet forward in order to lift the hips and keep shoulders up over elbows. And then you might need to walk back in order to make your plank. So if you're walking, no worries. Knees come down, wide as the mat, toes together. Everybody slide it back. Child's pose. Inhale, rise back up. Bring the knees together. Keep the elbows down. We're going to walk. Well, it depends on where you are on your mat. If you're towards the top, you might need to walk the knees back. And if you're towards the back, walk your arms forward. We're going to find heart to earth pose here. Puppy pose. The hips stay up over the knees. Forehead or chin is coming down. If it's too much stretch in the shoulders, bring one arm in and extend the other for a breath, and then switch. And if it's okay in the shoulders, you can reach both arms out. Press through the elbows, lift the head, walk the elbows back in, rise back up to tabletop. Pause here for a moment, reset the body. You can untuck the feet. We're going to inhale the right hand up to the sky. We're not going to stay and thread the needle though, so listen up. We're going to slide the right arm through and just tap the right shoulder down, and then press and lift and open again. And slide that right arm through, just a kiss with the right shoulder. Inhale, back up. And this time we'll stay. Slide through, right shoulder, right ear, come down. I'm leaving my left hand right where it is because I'm going to add a little variation to thread the needle today. You are, however, welcome to reach the left hand forward or take it behind for a half bind. I'm going to tuck my left toes and lift my left knee. It lets me shift the weight a little more into the right shoulder. It does also add a little balance component. So if you feel like you're going to topple over onto your back, that's pretty normal. Just remember, you can control how much weight shifts to the right side. If you lifted the left knee, slide it back down. Press through the left hand, reset the body, back into tabletop. Just one breath. We'll try that on the other side. Left hand reaches up, big breath. Just tap the left shoulder down. We're not going to stay. Inhale, press up. Exhale, tap that left shoulder down. One more time. Reach all the way up. Big twist, big breath. And then slide the left arm through, left ear, left shoulder come down. Option to shift the position of the right hand, or maybe lift the right knee. If the right knee is lifted, slowly bring it back down, press through the right palm, rise back up, and we're going to walk it forward and let the hips come all the way down to the earth for Sphinx pose. Shoulders are still over elbows, right? You can release the feet, walk the thighs all the way together, feet come all the way together. And again, just like in our forearm tabletop, the elbows are really pushing down so that there's lift in the shoulders. You can sink here or you can lift. And I guarantee the lift is going to feel, okay, I don't want to guarantee, but the lift feels better. Take my word. Might even release the glutes here and let the hips rock out a little bit. I want you to imagine that two things are happening here. The elbows are pushing down, right? And then the elbows are pulling back. You're not actually moving your arm. Think about where the energy is going. And the energy of the elbows is back towards the rib cage. It's going to help open the collarbones and lift the heart. And then just turn and look over your right shoulder. And then turn and look over your left shoulder. And then this time you're going to shift your weight into that right arm and look all the way back like you're trying to see your right foot. And then shift up and over, weight into the left arm and look back towards your left foot. And come back into center and we'll start to move the neck. Maybe you look up and down, take some neck circles. And then go on and lower all the way down. Bring hands in line with the rib cage. And we'll press up and back to tabletop, all fours. Resetting once again. Pause in your tabletop. And we're going to either cross the ankles and roll back over them, or shift the feet to one side and slide back. Nice, comfortable seat. I'm going to shift my bum to the middle of the mat and roll all the way down back to my bridge base. Oh, yes, my friends, you made it through the flow and you were brilliant. Just pause, see how you feel. I'm noticing that my shoulders and my upper arms, biceps and triceps, both got a little bit of work. I can feel the blood flowing, like that increased circulation, which is your body's response to muscle work. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I love it. Okay, put your hands wherever you want for right now. Eventually, we're probably going to bring them palms down by the hips, or take a grip on either side of your mat, but we don't need to start there. Inhale, we're going to really drop the tailbone down. Push your belly up towards the sky. Make a big gap under your low back. And then as you exhale, reverse that. Tuck the tailbone under and press the low back down into the earth. Just like that, 2 more times. Inhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, flatten the back. Last one, drop the tailbone, lift the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, flatten back. Okay, we're going to add on here. Inhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, flatten the back. Stay here. Press through both feet, and we're going to lift the hips. It doesn't need to be high. You can lift the hips just a single inch off the mat. Or you're welcome to roll up into a really high bridge. That's entirely up to your body today. Once you've gotten up, We're going to reverse the tape, keep that tailbone tucked and roll it down one section at a time through the spine. Just like that, 2 more times. Inhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, flatten the back. Inhale, roll up into your version of bridge. No weight in the neck, please. Exhale, reverse it. Ripple the spine all the way back down, one piece at a time. Deep breath in, drop the tailbone, belly lifts. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, flatten the back. Really feel the abdominal muscles here engage to pull belly in towards spine and press the low back down. Inhale, roll all the way up, find your version of bridge. And this time you have the option of staying and hanging out here. You might walk shoulder blades together or bring hands in for a little bind. The knees are pressing in towards each other as well as forward and away from your rib cage. So the quads, the hamstrings, the front and back of the thighs, and the glutes are all really turned on and active here, supporting the upper body. And then if you're holding your bridge, release and come all the way back down. And then we're going to hold our bridge base. If you have a prop handy and you want to grab a block and create a little space in the length here, just a little stretch, you're welcome to bring that block under the sacral bone, right where your back turns into your butt. The sacrum is actually the lowest portion of the spine just before you get to your tailbone. So either hips are down on the earth or hips are resting on a block. Either way, we're just going to pause for 2 more breaths. If your block is on the median height, I recommend dropping it down to the lower one. And if the hips are on the earth, fabulous. We're all going to bring our feet up towards the sky here. Point and flex, circle the ankles, wiggle the feet, wiggle the toes. You can even do a little kicky, tap in and out, rotate side to side. And then start to let the feet drift towards your head, keeping the legs as straight as you can. You might bring palms to quads here, to the tops of the thighs, so that the feet, you got like a little doorstop. You can only go so far. When you start to feel the hamstrings in the back of your thigh quiver, minor shaking, then bend the feet and draw knees into chest. Again, you can do this with hips lifted or hips lowered. I'm slowly walking myself off of the mat. But hips up or down, knees come into chest. And you can hug the shins, or if you have the block under the hips, you can release the arms if that feels nice. You might need to walk the shoulder blades up away from the hips a little bit. What we're going for here is imagining almost like the muscles along your spine are taffy, and we're pulling taffy here. So in order to pull taffy, right, you need to hold it at both ends. So one end of the taffy is between your shoulder blades, and the other end of the taffy is at your tailbone. And we're using our knees drawing in and that tailbone shifting up to lengthen, to pull that taffy in the spine. And hopefully that analogy helps, because in a lot of shapes, this is what we're doing. We are lengthening between 2 points. And if we aren't holding one of those points, we can't stretch anything, right? You couldn't pull taffy with one hand. Hopefully this is a helpful analogy. Take one more breath right here where we are. And then exhale. And we'll release the feet all the way back to the earth. If you have your block, gently lift the hips, slide it out. And slow and easy, everybody bring that tailbone back down to the ground. pause for a moment and observe your back. I absolutely love doing those stretches with a support under my hips. I'm almost 5'11". I'm a very tall yogi. I've had issues in my low back for a really long time. And the ability to create this space in my back not only allows my back to be strong, it gives it the flexibility that it was missing. And that is really the key to being stable, right? Strong plus flexible equals stable. Bazinga. Okay, let's take a lovely knee down twist. You can keep the feet planted and let the knees drop to the right, or you can draw knees into chest first and then guide the knees over to the right. Maybe the left arm reaches out away. Maybe the right hand comes to the left side of the rib cage or to the top of the left hip. Maybe the left ear starts to make its way towards the mat as well. Spinal twist, this is bliss. We're here for 3 full breaths. 3 of my full breaths, not 3 of your full breaths. Notice if you're holding on somewhere that you could release. And maybe notice where the deepest point of sensation, where the strongest sensation is in the body here. If you turned your head, bring the nose back to the sky. And we'll bring the knees back up to the center. Feet up or down does not matter. Knees will now move over to the left. The left hand maybe comes to the left side of the ribs, or excuse me, the right side of the ribs, or the top of the right thigh. The right arm reaches out, and maybe the right ear starts to come down towards the mat. And again, see if the muscles of your face are soft. Is your jaw relaxed? Are your toes all open to possibilities, right? Ready to wiggle and go? One more breath here. Exhale. Release, come all the way back up to center. If the feet are planted, go on and bring the knees in towards the chest. Nice little squeeze, great length there. Tailbone lifts and resettles. And then bring your left hand to your left foot. This is a half happy baby. You are welcome to continue with this half where the right knee is just bent and hanging out, and you're holding the left foot and drawing it down. And at some point, you'll switch and do the other foot. Or if you happen to love happy baby, then you are welcome to bring both feet up. You can hold on the outside edges, the inside arches. Take peace fingers and hook the big toe. Or you can hold the hamstring or the calf or the ankle, or you can hold on to your yoga pants. There is literally, there's so many ways you can find your way into happy baby. Try to separate the feet a little bit so you get a little bit of space, a little bit of stretch through the interior thigh there, that inner thigh adductor. Maybe you start with a little easy movement, rock side to side. And then see if you can't settle into the middle here. Settle into the center and just take 3 breaths. Just one more deep breath in. Exhale. We'll gently release the feet. Bring the knees back in. Right knee in the right hand, left knee in the left hand. Circle those knees in opposite directions. Let the legs be super heavy here. It's the hands doing the work. So the legs are just being guided. They're just hanging out. Just go in the opposite direction, couple circles around. Come all the way back to center. Release the feet to the earth. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees open out. If you have your prop handy and you want to make a support here for the knees so that you can just allow this shape to be really restorative, awesome. No prop, no problem. Allow the knees to simply rest open or make two fists, and where the outside of your thigh connects up by the hip, you can make a little shelf right there to give yourself a little extra support. Try to find a way to bring some sukha, some ease to this shape. Let the tailbone relax, so it's a neutral curve in the spine. Breathe deep into the belly. Exhale completely all the way out. Maybe you notice your shoulders are creeping up by your ears. You want to walk those down a little bit. And then rub your hands together. Cup them over the eyes for a moment, so fingers on your forehead. I'd like you to imagine that any tension in your mind today is being sucked back out by your fingers. You're drawing that tension all the way out. Take a deep breath in. Lift the fingers, shake that tension away. Just flick it. I see you, I don't need you. Rub the hands together. Little friction, little heat. And then bring them to the back of the neck. You can keep your elbows up or open them out, whatever works in your shoulders, in your body. But bring the heat of your hands to the back of your neck. Maybe even lift the skull, tuck the chin slightly so there's more length there. And it's the same concept. The heat of your hands is drawing any tension out of your neck. And release the hands, and again, shake that tension away. It's gone. Rub the hands together. New batch of heat. Cross the arms over. Rest your palms on your shoulders, right at the top of your shoulders. Pull the elbows down away from your face. Draining tension out of the body. And release the hands and shake it out. And then any place else you feel tension in the body. If you have an achy heart today, you can rub the hands and bring them to the heart center. Maybe you've had some tension through your belly. Maybe you hold it in your hips, right? Or wherever you find it. I'm not looking. It's all good. Bring your hands to a point of tension in the body. Rub them together, warm them up. Draw that tension out. Stay for at least one breath, maybe a couple, and then shake that tension out of your hands. It's just gone. Got about 30 more seconds to play with releasing tension and loving your reclined bound angle shape here. You're also, of course, welcome to come back to a spot we visited. Maybe you still need a little more work in the mind or in the neck or your shoulders. Always welcome to try it again. And then we're going to release the hands to the outside edges of the knees. Press the feet actively together and then slide those knees gently up and in. Walk the feet wide, bring the knees together, pause. And then we'll release the knees and start to make your way into your final resting shape for today, whatever that's going to look like for you. So maybe that's corpse pose, and you want to lengthen all the way out. Maybe bound angle felt really, really juicy and good today. You want to come there, or you like the bridge base. Maybe you like that tent pose where the feet are wide and the knees come together. And of course, if you have like an exercise ball or a couch or chair handy and you want to put your feet up to sort of simulate a knees up at the wall or legs at the wall moment, you're welcome to do that too. You can ignore my little fashion adjustments here. But the goal here is to choose a pose that doesn't require you to move, that lets you stay still as a living human body gets. So it's just the beating of your heart and the smooth ease of your breath. Let the breath get a little deeper, but kind of a natural deep, not a I need to move breath, a really relaxed breath. Let each exhale create a little more softness, a little more space. Release a little more of whatever you're releasing today. Maybe it's tension, maybe it's anger or fear. Whatever it is we're letting go of, let each exhale send it out and away, draining out of the body, maybe even dropping down into the earth, melting out of you, whatever visual serves. There is nothing left to do here. These next moments are yours to be and to breathe. Welcome to Shavasana. Start to notice sensation of the ground underneath you. Noticing how your breath expands away from that resistance. Rib cage opens up, lungs fill, belly fills. We tend to think of breathing in as being sort of an upward movement, but it's really not. It moves down. We inhale down and we exhale to push the air up and out. See if you can't find that sensation. Breathe down into the belly. Breathe up as you exhale and release. And then let the breath start to create easy movement in the body. Maybe you rub thumb and fingerprints together or tap the thumbs and the fingerprints together. You might even snap your fingers if that feels nice. Maybe you start to blink the eyes. And then from small movement, we shift to bigger movement, maybe turning the head side to side. You might yawn and reach the arms all the way up overhead. Point the toes. Maybe you turn wrists and ankles or draw the knees in towards your chest. Rock a little side to side. Maybe even turn to one side and draw the knees all the way up and in. Find a little fetal position. Take the movement that serves, that brings you fully back into yourself. Reclaim yourself. Draw back in. And then find a way back up to seated if that serves. You are always welcome to finish class laying down. That doesn't fuss me in the slightest. But if you want to bring that head back up over the heart and the heart over the hips, come on up with me. Rub the hands, palms together. Open the fingers up wide today to the heart center. We're taking up a little space. We're creating space for possibilities, for beautiful things to occur. Wherever you are at, slide those thumbs to the center of the forehead, ajna, the third eye. Bow the head, mind intelligence, surrendering to body intelligence, giving them a chance to work together. I hope that your day is full of very beautiful possibilities. Thank you for sharing space with me this morning. Namaste.